For 32 years, Luciano Baguma called this peaceful land home. But behind these serene surroundings, he lived a life marked by fear, pain and humiliation, his world shattered by domestic violence. It was here that he once nurtured a dream of transforming a 5-acre piece of inherited property into a flourishing banana and coffee plantation. However, that dream slowly crumbled as family disputes over ownership escalated into violence.
She would find me seated somewhere, sipping my soda, and push me, igniting a fight.
The land dispute was only the beginning. In February 2021, verbal arguments escalated into physical violence when Baguma's wife, enraged by suspicions of infidelity, attacked him with a herding stick. The brutal assault left him paralyzed and soaked in local brew.
She held the stick with both hands and hit me on the head. I fell down, and she then poured a jug of local brew on me. I had to run away.
Fearing for his life, Baguma sought refuge, first at his parents' home, then fled to Kyamuhunga District, where he lived for over a year.
She cut the tires of my motorcycle, preventing me from going back to my business, and even destroyed my phone.
When he returned, he found that his wife's aggressiveness had worsened, from damaging his motorcycle to denying him access to his business. In Livingstone town, she maintained dominance, forcing him to abandon his home once again.
Whenever I wanted to enjoy my conjugal rights, I had to bring her gifts or money to gain access.
Other women in this village have learned from her and become unruly. They now beat their husbands and sleep in bars.
Even accessing his conjugal rights was a battle. Baguma describes months without intimacy, often having to offer gifts or money to appease his wife.
They told me, "Sort your issues. You married her knowing who she was."
The couple's children, now adults, distanced themselves from the conflict, leaving Baguma isolated. Local leaders intervened multiple times, but their efforts bore little fruit as Baguma's wife, an LC1 women's representative, avoided accountability through tears and public sympathy.
In 24 years of their domestic violence, we have intervened more than 10 times to resolve their issues, all in vain. Every time the man shows up with physical wounds.
We have called the wife for dialogue several times, but she refuses. One time she threw stones at me, and one broke my window. I have written many letters, all in vain.
There is a person who told me that when he went to police, that police officers laughed at him. So you see, it is generally, I may call it like a new norm, where men have experienced this.
Baguma's case is not unique. In Swazi III, men like 38-year-old Livingstone Musinguzi have suffered similar fates. He bears scars from a brutal attack by his wife, who cut his head and beat his nose during a dispute over finances.
The wife cut my head once, and another time beat my nose. Despite all this, I have been patient. I sleep at home, but we are always in conflict.
According to Bushenyi District's senior probation officer, Faith Amanya Betega, male victims of domestic violence face an uphill battle. Cultural expectations of masculinity force them into silence, while the psychological toll of the abuse continues to grow.
Even those that attempt to report, they are pulled down by the society. Are you man enough? How can you be battered? So in attempt to get support, they get a backlash because of a culture, and they end up dying in silence.
The cycle of violence often stems from unresolved land disputes and financial struggles, issues that probation officers and local authorities are working to address.
Generally, in Bushenyi, we have an issue of land. Land is becoming a problem because you see this woman is entitled to the extent of, cutting a motorcycle. I think this is unfair.
Unfortunately, Baguma's story ended tragically. Last week, as MTV was editing this report, we received information that he had been involved in a fatal road accident on his way from Ishaka. His death shocked the community, with many attributing it to the stress and trauma he endured in his marriage. As men continue to endure silently, the question remains, how can society break the cycle of domestic violence and create safe spaces for all victims, regardless of gender? Herbert Kamoga, NTV Tonight.